What up, y'all? It's me and Amir. Amir, say hey. Let me tell y'all, bruh. X-Men 97. How they managed to do it every week, I don't know. But man, the storytelling is amazing. It's really, really, really good, man. And let me tell you, I'm coming from a standpoint of I recently got into the comics. I mean, in the past, I've read comics, but I lived in a very small town, and it wasn't like we had, a comic book store right up the street. So it was very hard for me to keep up with the comics as much as I want. Oh man, Slim Jim Longfoot with the spoilers already. Yes, bruh. He ain't the only one though. And that's what I really, really, really enjoy about the show, man. X-Men 97 is not afraid to get your favorites up out of here, bruh. Like, if that's somebody that you love, like, this reminds me of Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is the first show that I've seen where they'll set you up with somebody that's the main character, and they will just get them out of there. Like, if you love them, then, you better hold them close. And even, The Walking Dead was pretty good with that, but, you could tell when they were like, all right, we can't kill him. Like, what was his name? Daryl? Like, they wouldn't kill Daryl. There was no way that, Daryl would die. And then even, they acted like they killed, what's the main character's name? I can't think right now. They acted like they wasn't going to kill him, but then they got him up out of here. So, X-Men, what's up? Yeah, they in their bag on the storylines from the 90s. That was 2 and 2 for the cartoon and that. Yeah, man, I see. Because, I got the Marvel Unlimited app, and I was just on a tear, just reading through X-Men comics, and just comics in general. Like, I was really, 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 like, reading 10 to 12 comic books a day, like, just going through, because, the Marvel Unlimited app, you can just read all of them. So, I was doing my knowledge, catching up, reading everything, bruh. Right, and they would not kill Daryl off. And, I think that was kind of a, I get it, bruh, but low-key, it's like, your favorites gotta be able to go. Like, you think about a show, like, again, Game of Thrones, bruh, they did not hesitate to kill your favorites. They got out of there. And where we are today as a society, you have to be able to pull the rug from up under people. X-Men 97 will pull the rug up under you in a heartbeat, bruh. Do I think Logan is dead because he ripped out the skin, his, skeleton? I don't think so, only because Wolverine still has the healing factor. And I don't believe that the healing factor is tied directly to his, adamantium. They spoil these all day. Y'all, we have to wait that long, 30 days until the next issue about him. Yeah, man. I'm definitely caught up with the current X-Men comic book run, and I went back, like, I've been doing double duty. I've been reading the actual Marvel comics, and then I've been reading, the 616 universe rather, and I've also been reading the Unlimited universe, and I see that they brought the Unlimited universe back. And side note, Unlimited Spider-Man, oh man, goodness gracious, Unlimited Spider-Man is crazy. But yeah, I'm not one of those people that'll sit here and act like, I'm the comic book guru and the comic book expert, because I'm nowhere near that. I've just been reading a lot of comics lately, and I've been catching up. But when people were saying it was Bastion, I'm like, oh, let me find out who Bastion was. Like, I'm one of those. If you tell me a character, then I'm gonna do the research on the character and then go find the comics. But for me to sit here and tell you that I read the original run of Bastion, bro, I wasn't even born in the 80s. So no, I don't know. But that's okay, man. And comic book fans have a way of being super duper snobby, where it's like, oh, you're new. Like, bruh, everybody has to start somewhere, and granted, I really wanted to get into comics. It was just the circumstances that we had, when I could buy a comic. By the time I bought a comic from Barnes and Noble, not even a real bookstore, by the time I bought, a comic book store, by the time I bought them from Barnes and Noble, y'all. Like, they had already moved on like 5, 10 series. And now I'm trying to, it got very overwhelming. So I'm like, all right, man. But, sheesh. Magneto, man. Hey. He's not. And what Max did was so cold, was liquefy the adamantium and ripped it through his pores. But hey, Wolvie yeah, Wolvie asked for it. Wolvie asked for it, man. Like, I don't know what he thought was gonna happen. Like where do you think that was gonna go? Because Magneto is Magneto, and you know Magneto controls metal. And honestly, when Wolverine charged at him in the beginning, because Wolverine was the one who led the attack, and Rogue stopped him and was like, hey, you're playing to kill. I'm like, doesn't Wolverine understand Magneto can just, like, didn't Wolverine see Days of Future Past and realize, like, who he was playing with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously he didn't see Days of Future Past. The movie. I'm talking about the movie, not the comics. But yeah, man, I'm like, bruh, what did he really think was going to happen here? So, you know, Wolverine's going to be alright, y'all, because he has the healing factor. Now, he's probably going to be hurting for a minute, and he's probably going to be sitting still, but he'll be alright. You know, he still has the healing factor, so he's good. But Magneto, though, man, I don't know, man. Magneto was right, bruh. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it, you know, but for me, more than anything, I hate to see Magneto being killed, and I'm pretty sure, because there's only one more episode left. I wonder how they're going to tackle that, bruh. Like, is it going to be an hour long instead of the 30 minutes? Like, are they going to leave us with the cliffhanger and leave this conflict unresolved to where we're forced to watch the next season? Don't worry, most of those fans didn't know Bastion if they didn't read X-Men after Tune went off. Bastion pops in the comic around 96 and 97. And yeah, Max was right. Yeah, man, bruh. It's like, yeah, dog. That's my biggest thing. It's like, now at this point, how are we going to finish this season off? Like, are we going to be left with another cliffhanger? Because the way they ended that episode was so crazy, dog. It was like, it just stopped right in the middle of the action, which I think I'm going to start doing in my YouTube videos, by the way. I'm just going to randomly stop in the middle of an action point and pick up somewhere else, because that is crazy. Like, the cliffhanger that they left us with all week, I'm going to be thinking, like, you know, obviously I'm going to go down the rabbit holes and I'm going to look at all of the breakdowns and all of the Easter eggs and the whole nine. Which, granted, let me say this also. Speaking of Easter eggs, I'm going to backtrack. When Morph turned into the Hulk and he said Morph smash, I was like, wow. Like, Morph was really turning it up, man. Because remember, if you saw the original comics in 92, you know, they got Morph up out of here ASAP. So, you know, the X-Men show was never really afraid to pull punches. So, you know, well, not to pull punches, but to let punches go. They did not pull punches. Love seeing him. Right, Cyclops, bruh. Cyclops with the all blue, like, covered up. I'm like, wow. And what about Cyclops? How did you feel about Cyclops stopping Professor X, saying that the gold team needed more time? I thought Cyclops right then and there was going to turn into the evil Cyclops run, which I loved, by the way. When Cyclops decided that he was just, you know what I'm saying, protecting mutants at all costs, and he was holding it down, I'm like, wow. And seeing Cyclops square up with Captain America, and they just talk, I tell you what, Avengers versus X-Men versus the Eternals. When Cyclops came and, no, was it Cyclops or, they came to get Sabretooth. And Cyclops was just so calm and casual, like, you know I can't let you do that. And I'm like, oh, like, these boys are really about to get it in. Morph quickly became a fan favorite. He was made for tunes and they wanted him back. Yeah, man. It was crazy how quick they got him out of here. It really was. So I'm glad they brought him back. And Gambit, man, like, Gambit was another, like, the tunes really brought a lot of people to the forefront. Now, granted, all I remember was the tunes, because that was my first exposure to the X-Men. Like, I was 1992. I was one. Just for context. So I remember very vividly, my mom bought me the X-Men box set. And if you're old enough, then you remember. I know Slim Jim, you remember when they used to have the box sets of tapes. And I remember it was just a black cover with the red X in the circle and on the inside. And on the outside of the box, it was the pictures of the Sentinels. And bruh, it was so crazy just how they started it off. Like Jubilee, the very first episode. And man, I'm telling you, like, you really, really, really had to be there. So to see everything come back and how Marvel is playing on the nostalgia vibes, it kind of gives me hope for the MCU, because it's like, all right, man, y'all know what it looks like. Y'all know what hits. Cyclops in his militant bag, for real. When he hit X, I understood why he did it, because of X. Because if X had turned the joints back on, it would have been crazy. Right, it would have been too many things at one time. Yep, those Pizza Hut exclusive. Yeah, bruh. Like, yeah, man. Slim Jim was there, man. Like, but yeah, bruh. Like, back to just what's going on right now, man. So, the episode starts off. We see Storm pop back up, saving Jubilee and Sunspot. And Sunspot, by the way, man, Sunspot just goes wherever it seems like it's cool at the time. I hate how Sunspot is having this, moral dilemma, and it seems like he doesn't really have a backbone. Like, I hate this iteration of Sunspot, man, because, on one minute he's Team X-Men, one minute he's Team, I don't even want to be a mutant. Like, I'm tired of this. And then he flips over, he's rolling with the school of Xavier, I'm rolling with the mutants, but you could always tell his heart wasn't really in it. And then Magneto shows up, and all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, I'm rolling with Magneto because my mom sent me over to the Sentinels. And then, even when he's fighting Jubilee, he's like, I don't really want to do this, Jubilee, stop, I'm trying to protect you. And Jubilee's like, bro, I don't need you to protect me, like, I'm Jubilee, like, what are you talking about? So, I'm gonna tell you who Sunspot reminds me of, and it's probably gonna make a lot of people mad, but I don't care. Sunspot is out here moving like J. Cole, bruh. Like I saw Sunspot, and I'm like, bruh, you out here moving like J. Cole. One day you cool with Kendrick, next day you cool with Drake, then when it's time to fight, you like, I don't really want to deal with that. I'm gonna just go do my own thing. Like, bruh, Sunspot, get out the way, man. Like, it's a real life war going on. You got people dying left and right, and I understood where Sunspot was coming from, but now he don't know what he want to do, and Jubilee ain't feeling no more at all. Not J. Cole. J. Cole, bruh. J. Cole. Yeah, I mean, initially I understood where Sunspot was coming. Like, Sunspot was cool. Like, right now my family's rich. I really don't want it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Sunspot, one day you'll see him hanging with this person. Next day, like, I don't like Sunspot, man. Like, the way that they have him right now, like, usually Sunspot is usually this little cocky, arrogant, egotistical dude, and yeah, he has his moral dilemmas, but at the same time, he's Robert DaCosta, and they just do little crazy, like the New Mutants run, like, Sunspot ain't like this, y'all. Like, let me tell you, because I know a lot of people watch the show and they don't get into the comics, and they think that the show iteration of the comics, determines how characters really came from, and that's not always the case. Sunspot, nah, bro. Sunspot ain't like this in the comics. That's for sure. If anything, Sunspot, because usually Sunspot is the leader of the New Mutants. And so Sunspot is usually, with it. And usually he'll crack some jokes, and he's a lot more funny, and he has a lot more personality. He's witty. Like, this is the Sunspot I'm used to seeing. And granted, I get it because it fits in the story. Now, let me say, the Sunspot that we're getting in the story, it's not bad because it definitely fits with the storyline of how they're portraying this character for X-Men 97. So by no means am I saying it's a bad iteration of Sunspot. I'm just saying that this is the Sunspot that I'm used to seeing. Because the Sunspot I'm used to seeing is totally different. Like, he'll have his shade and he just all over, like it's different, bro, but it's not bad. And Charles, the way they have Charles Xavier right now is pretty accurate. You know, Charles is willing to make deals, and Charles will throw, you know, some mutants under the bus if he can save, you know, certain mutants. Charles is always, you know, right. Sunspot is about that action, bro. For real, for real. Sunspot will, hey, like even the New Mutants, the comic book, not the comic book, the movie. Like, a lot of people hated that movie. I didn't really hate it. I don't like the angle that they went with it, but you know, the way that they portrayed the people in the limited scope that they did, it wasn't horrible. You know, well, I can't defend it. I ain't even gonna lie. I can't defend that movie. It's just, so the thing is, when people see comics, they want to try to put new things on it. Like, let me explain. So, you have X-Men 97, where they're taking the comics and they're mixing them up. So you can't really tell the outcome. Like, you have comic book experts who, you know what I'm saying, they can look at it and they can point out characters, but they can't tell you how the story's gonna go, because they'll take one story and another story and they'll merge them together and they'll blend it so perfectly that it could either be option A, B, or C. But ultimately, it's hard to pinpoint exactly how it's going to happen. You can point out the characters, and if you point out the characters, you can kind of trace, you know, what this character's motives are and how they had done things in the past. But, you know what I'm saying, it's hard to say this is exactly how it's going to end, because a lot of people thought that, you know, it was Cassandra Nova who did the Genosha Extinction event. And then people were like, it could be Bastion, but it could also be this person. So, you know, they'll take a storyline, but they'll blend it to where you don't necessarily know. Like, people thought that Cassandra Nova was going to tie into the Dead movie with Wolverine, and, you know, it was going to be that type of scenario, which it turned out it was just Bastion. And again, a lot of people didn't even know who Bastion was. So you have that. And that's what makes X-Men 97 so good, because not only do they play on the nostalgia factor and they give the comic book fans what they want, like the purists, but also, you know what I'm saying, they take liberties and they make it cool and make it different, but at the same time, it's still original to the actual characters, or if they change it, it fits into the actual story that they're trying to tell at the moment. So, bruh, I'm telling you, man. Anyway, on that note, I gotta come back later. Let me do what they do with X-Men.